When you don't value yourself, whatever people do to you, you feel like you deserve it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And especially because my ex-partners were narcissists, so they make you feel like, okay, if I hit you or if I manipulate you or if I insult you, it's because you're wrong. It's because you deserve it. You second guess yourself and you question yourself. You're like, oh, maybe I do deserve it. The thing is, they don't just play with your mind, they play with the chemicals in your body and you become imbalanced chemically. Basically, it's science, that's it. They take you up and down so much. So that's cortisol, that's endorphins, dopamine, and then cortisol. And then dopamine and cortisol. What happens is you're addicted to that high. So you're just hanging down there when you're stressed and feeling down, waiting for them to take you up there again. And they make you feel like no one can do it but them.
Oh my God. I forgot again. Go ahead and smash that like button for me. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button for me. All right. Hola, mis amores, ¿cómo están? Hi, my loves. How are you doing today? So I'm excited about today about this particular video and podcast, what it looks like, right? What it looks like when a woman really loves herself, when a woman really centers herself, prioritizes herself, and chooses herself, right? Especially being that we just entered 2024. And then, of course, as usual, I'll come back at the end with my thoughts.
I think the best piece of advice my dad gave me was when I was struggling as to whether I should stay in a relationship or not. He said, Shivani, if you weren't enjoying your job, would you tell me that you're not going to leave because there's no other jobs in the world? Or would you just stay in that job and be miserable forever? And I was like, well, obviously I would leave the job. There's millions of jobs in the world. And he was like, yeah, but what if you're not qualified? I was like, well, there'll be something I'm qualified for. Yep. He was like, exactly. So when you're not happy in a relationship, I say this all the time, and I think it's because my parents have been really positive with that reinforcement from a young age. There are millions of people in the world. Why on earth do you think you're not going to find someone? Yeah. It's bizarre to me. By the way, I'm not saying it's easy when you have to leave a relationship. It's very difficult. You have a lot of emotional attachment. You have a lot of social attachment. Sometimes your friends are really similar. Some people are living together. It's hard. But at the end of the day, you have one life. Yeah. When you think about the fact that you just have one life and that's it, and then you're just going to die after, you're never going to get the chance to feel that love or that affection or that feeling again. Why would you waste it on someone?
It's mad.
If you love yourself 0% and someone comes along and offers you 10%, they love you 10%. It sounds really good. Okay. If you love yourself, even like 90%, and someone comes along with 10%, they can eat shit. You're not even looking at them because you have so much love for yourself and so much self-worth that you're not even going to entertain someone who can't bring just as much to the table.
Right. Are you talking about when you love yourself, you won't accept things? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because if you have no love for yourself and someone has 10% love for you, really 10% love for you is shit, but compared to your 0%, you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so
that sounds really good. And then you're going to get stuck in these bad situations. Build that up. Even to 80, 90, you're not going to love anyone who can't bring you at least 80, 90 to the table.
I like that.
I said single. Women are choosing to be single and dealing with less bullshit because y'all sat here and gave us so much bullshit on why we should be fucking doormats to your emotions.
Come on, Randy.
Opposed to taking fucking accountability for the fact that you ain't healed yourself from the fucked up shit your fucked up ass mama did to you. Come on, Randy.
I think first is when I started to get myself centered, I started to understand the power of loving myself firstly. And I had to commit to that idea. Let me love myself. Let me get myself in the right place, so that, I can, love myself. I love myself, right? Then I believe I can get the love that I deserve. I'll have the love. I'll be loved the way that I deserve. And then I can also be clear enough to love the way I'm supposed to love as well.
Ways. Say that one more time. Just remember that you are the prize.
Yes.
That's his golden slogan for me.
Yeah. And what does that mean for you in relationships when you're like, I'm the prize? What does that mean?
It just means not compromising my values, my happiness, my peace,
not settling for less than what I know I deserve, and not being afraid to walk away from a situation if it's like no longer serving me.
What is something that people don't know that they should know about trauma?
Trauma is not just what happens to you. It's what happens inside of you as a result of what happens to you. You know, we talk about it in terms of something that happened, it was too much, too soon, too fast. The nervous system couldn't regulate it, couldn't process it, couldn't integrate everything it was experiencing at once. And so that energy gets stuck in the body. As I kind of mentioned earlier, is a motto that I live by is we can't heal what we hate. And I've come to that conclusion because in my hatred of the thing that hurt me, or the way that I am as a result of the thing that happened to me, maybe I'm hypervigilant, maybe I'm on guard a lot of times, maybe I'm constantly looking for what's the thing that could go wrong here. I could hate that about myself. Be like, I wouldn't be this way if that hadn't happened, right? But I think in that is an energy of rejection and of saying it's wrong. And we can't heal from that state. We've actually got to bring compassion and love and empathy into it and say, hey, it's actually not wrong that you're this way. It actually makes sense. It's actually right. Actually, your body and your brain is very intelligent. It's trying to keep you alive, and it's actually doing the exact thing it feels like it needs to do to predict something that might happen in your future to keep you alive.
Right.
So instead of making it wrong, can we actually see that it's useful and it's served a purpose? And it might not be serving you now, but we don't have to hate it. We don't have to judge it. And in so doing that, we soften that part of us that is afraid, really. It softens and it feels a little bit more safe.
Okay, y'all. So it's 2024, and in centering ourselves, well, that means putting ourselves first. And a lot of times that's hard to do. And it's very, very hard to do, especially if you come from a culture that doesn't encourage these characteristics in women, right? Or a family that comes from said culture. And so by default, they don't encourage these characteristics on women. A lot of times women are told, well, you got to rush to be in a relationship. You got to rush to be with a male. And that's what your whole life should be centered around. And that's not true. It's just not true. It's incorrect. Even when you get with a male, even when you get married, a lot of women end up even more miserable, right? Because they never centered themselves to begin with, right? So, it comes down to finding yourself, centering yourself, and putting yourself first. And I truly fundamentally believe that the more effort that you put into yourself when it comes to the way you look, when it comes to the way you think, when it comes to your overall vibes, the more work and effort you put into yourself, the less BS you will be willing to accept from anyone else, especially no crusty male, okay? When you invest an incredible amount in yourself, right? Getting your nails done, $400 to $700 just for hair, just to get your hair done and look on point. Your makeup, $400 to $500 minimum in total, right? Your clothes, and you do this, and you go to the gym, you work out, you work on your mental, you go to therapy, and you're doing this as a daily. This is your daily. This isn't like, oh, let me just New Year's. This is your lifestyle, right? And then a male wants to approach you, and the first thing he says is, you want to grab Starbucks. The answer is going to be no. And not because of the location, say per se, it's the level of effort that the location portrays, right? So that's what I'm seeing a lot of times is the more effort the woman puts in herself and into her growth, the less likely this woman is to accept below bare minimum effort from any male, especially not from the get-go, right? And I believe that it's just better to set those standards early on than to start with the below bare minimum and then try to, double back and set standards after that, right? Because I just don't see the point of doing that. And the higher the stakes, the higher the woman and those standards, then the longer she's willing to wait and look for the right fit, right? So these women that are already stuck in marriages that want to have so much to say, but yet looking broke, dusty, and disgusting. I had a lady tell me, and she was like, yeah, well, I have a husband and he gets me bananas in the middle of the night. Girl, the fuck? We're not talking about getting bananas in the middle of the night. Like, what are you even saying? Right? It's a completely different mindset, right? We're not looking for a male that all he does is gets it. It's a whole lifestyle. It's a whole vibe. It's a whole lifestyle, right? So, anyway, that's just what That's what I think. That's my opinion. And so, of course, just kind of centering yourself and digging more into, we'll continue to dig more into what that means, what that actually looks like, right? Because, a lot of males will come back and say, well, a lot of women can't even afford the meals that they're wanting to go on, right? And it's like, well, at the end of the day, these women you're trying to go for that have higher standards and take care of themselves and actually put in effort for themselves and are actually giving themselves, say the woman is giving herself, she's already giving herself 90%, and you trying to approach her with only 2 to 3%. That's not going to work. That's not going to work because she's going to be able to recognize it. A, she's going to be able to be like, okay, you're trying to give me nothing. And B, why would she be giving herself 90% and then allow someone else to give her only 3%? It doesn't make sense. And so women that are working all around the clock and it's a lifestyle for them with the way that they look on point, right? Especially every time they step out of the house, the way that they think, their self-confidence, their, what they want, their drive on point. You can't step to that woman and be surprised if she laughs in your face when you ask her to go on a coffee date with you. See what I'm saying? Waste of time. In the comments below, let me know what your thoughts are on this particular issue. Oh my God, I forgot again. Go ahead and smash that like button for me. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button for me. All right. And yes, again, let me know what you think on this particular issue and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.
I hadn't learned to love myself yet. I hadn't gotten there. And if you don't love yourself when someone else says horrible things to you, a part of you is always going to believe them. Yep. So then it was like, okay, I don't want to believe these people. I don't want to agree with them on any level. I want to figure out who I am. I want to learn who I am, and I don't want to feel like I'm fragile every time I leave the house because I'm so dependent on what other people think about me. So I just took a step back and I just kept living. And it's been a really cool journey. And I feel like I've arrived in a place where, maybe not every minute of every day, but way more than I used to. I have a tremendous amount of love and compassion for everyone else. And best of all, I have it for myself.
I used to think, if I take care of everybody else, I'm a good person. You know what I mean? I put myself last. A lot of women in my family, that's how we were raised, especially Latinos. Like, everybody comes before you. I'm last. I'll eat last. I'll get dressed last. I didn't even take a shower. It's fine. That's how you're raised. And you come to the realization that, it's not that. Like, I actually have to take care of myself so I can take care of everybody else better.
We are taught as women, you gotta find somebody. You gotta find somebody immediately. When you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, you gotta find. If you don't find somebody, you're old maid. Nobody wants you. I can guarantee you, ladies, if you love yourself and you find out who you are, God is not going to let you down. He's going to give you whatever you want, whatever that fulfillment is.
A woman who loves being alone. The truth is, a woman who has embraced solitude knows the value of her own company. She is comfortable dining alone and finding joy in her own presence. She doesn't seek validation through others, understanding her self-worth deeply. Her strength is a testament to the experiences she's endured. It's in these moments of challenge that she's forged her resilience and recognized her true value. When such a woman chooses to let someone into her life, it's a privilege not to be taken lightly. She mirrors the energy she receives, expecting respect and sincerity in return. Remember, a woman's strength is often like that of a tea bag, only revealed when faced with adversity. So if you're fortunate enough to connect with a woman of this caliber, cherish and honor that chance. Her strength and self-assurance are not to be underestimated.
I don't know who need to hear this, but girl, it's your season. What are you doing? If not you, then who? Girl, get out your head. It is your time to shine, baby. Take what you want. Go out there acting weak in the knees. Let's go.